Okay, we made it now to the final video of our how to make a webtoon series for beginners using Clip Studio Paint. So for today's video, I'm going to show you how I save my webtoon file to upload it onto Webtoon's platform, and how I make my webtoon thumbnail. Yes, how I make my thumbnail, because I know that was an issue I had when I first started out, because it wouldn't like upload and whatnot, and I made multiple videos on how to do that. So I'm just going to include that in here, and that's going to be your action step, where you're just going to have 2 action steps, and that's saving your Webtoon comic page so that you upload it onto Webtoon. I'll share with you my process, and then your second action step will be the thumbnail. Just for like disclaimer purposes, just in case no one knows, I'm uploading on Webtoon Canvas's platform. I also upload on to Pass's platform, so I'm using the free uploading platform. I don't know how to pitch a comic to Webtoon originals, or how to pitch to Pass originals. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about posting stuff like how I post on Instagram. Same thing. Webtoon Canva has like a free posting platform to where you can post on there for free. And you know, it's not contracted. You just, like, you're posting pictures on your Instagram, you're posting your comic on Webtoon. So yeah. Okay, let's go. Here is our finished webtoon after doing each action step one by one, over and over and over and over and over. Now we have our finished webtoon, and you might be wondering, hey, how come it's not one like long vertical strip? Why do you have all these different pages? This is how I like to do it, and the whole process that I shared with you through this whole series is still going to help us get that one long vertical strip. I like to do it this way. This is not the only way that you need to do it. Some people like to have like one big file, but any hoodles, this is beginner friendly, so let me zero back into what I was saying. So here's how I go about turning all of these individual images into one long vertical strip on Webtoon Canva's platform. That's the webtoon. It's not the originals. We're not doing the originals. I'm not affiliated with that.
You're not affiliated with me.
Because I'm not contracted with them. I guess that's the word. Yeah, I'm not contracted with them, so I do the free posting one. So let me show you how I go about and do this. So we go over here, I'm using Clip Studio Paint. I click on File. There's multiple ways to do this, but this is what I like to do. I like to do multiple pages, and then I'll do batch export. You can do single page, and then you can do like JPEG. I like to do JPEG when I'm doing single page. If you're like, well, what about the other ones? I don't know. But when I'm doing single page, I like to use JPG. But right now we're going to do the export multiple pages. Now, you might be like, well, what about this Webtoon export one? You can click that one too, but I'm going to walk you through my process on what I do, and then that way you can just like repeat it. This does not mean that you cannot use the Webtoon export one. I've been using the multi-page one because that's just what I do. But if you want to use the Webtoon export, feel free. Let's click it and let's see what happens. So this is what happens. So what I like to do, I like to keep the width at 800. If you're wondering what's your Webtoon canvas size, go ahead and go back to video 1 where I share the Webtoon canvas size, because right now I can't remember off the top of my head. Even though I've been drawing comics for years, I can't remember anymore. I've said so many numbers, I don't remember anymore. Oh wait, I'm smart, hold on. Okay, there we go. So my Webtoon canvas size that I like to draw on, which is this one, is 1,600 pixels wide. I like to cut that in half. You don't have to if you're uploading it onto Webtoon Canvas's platform, because they have their own now like built-in formatter and slicer. But for me, this is just what I like to do. I could have just like uploaded as is on Webtoon Canvas platform, but again, I'm showing you my process. So anyways, so if you want to use the export Webtoon one, here's my process on what I would do. I would put it down to 50% so I get the 800 pixels wide. If you're like, mine's supposed to do that, mine goes down to this because that's my canvas size, again, was 1,600 pixels wide. You don't have to do that canvas size if you don't want to. Do whatever canvas size you like. I'm just sharing my process. Then hoodles, I'll cut that to 50%, and then this is going to divide it horizontally for me. Now this is going to divide it vertically for me, and it's going to make 42 files. I can also export each file individually if I wanted to. If I want them like sliced up to a specific height, I can just do this right here. If I had drawn this all on one long vertical strip, then I would probably use that one. Not to say I can't use this one. I can still, but I'm just going to share with you my process. Again, since Webtoon Canva now has like their own built-in formatter, I don't really bother too much doing all of this. Let me just show you what I do. We're gonna go to File. I like to use the multi-page export feature because I have multiple pages. So I go to the export multiple pages because I want all these pages exported. And then I just do batch export. I click this. And that's gonna be your first action step. We are going to export our comic pages so that we can add them onto Webtoon's platform. Webtoon Canva's platform. I have spotted a wild queenie. Where did it go? Oh my gosh! Hey, baby.
Hi.
I'm finishing up some tutorials over here. Okay, so after I do that, I have my file format as JPEG, and then I'll click OK. After I click OK, here's where I can change my settings. So typically, I like to drop it down to about no less than 800 because I don't want it smaller than 800. I don't want the width smaller than 800. Why? Because Webtoon doesn't allow me to upload anything smaller than 800. And then I like to click for illustrations because, well, it's colored, so I've always kept it as that. There's not much logic. I don't know. I mean, it says right here, scale combined images. It reduces the gaps between the layers when scaling. I have no clue what that means, and I'm okay with not knowing what that means because I still get the results that I want. So I'm sure someone in the comment will be like, hey, this is what that means. That's fine. But this is, I keep that setting there. I click that one. I don't click this one. For the colors, I have it set to this. And I have the text here. Quality, I have it at 100. Then I just click OK. And then it exports all of the pictures. So that's your action step. Let's go through it one more time because I talk a lot. Your first step, go to File, Export, Batch Export. Or you can go to File, Export, and you can go to the JPEG one, or you can go to the Webtoon one. But if you're following my process, which is the process we've been doing this whole series, go ahead and just follow along. Let's do batch export together. That's your first step. Now let's move on over to Webtoon Canva. We're going to take a quick pause, and I'm going to show you how I upload my Webtoon if I don't have like a desktop computer using a smartphone. And then we'll get back to the regular tutorial, but here's how I publish a Webtoon using a smartphone without a computer. Here's how I upload my Webtoon using my Android phone. I use the internet browser. I go to Webtoon's website, not their app. I then select the desktop version of Webtoon's website in the internet browser. I can request a desktop underneath the settings, and there it is, desktop site. I think currently the publish button is only available on their desktop version of the website and not in the app. So that's what I do. If you don't have the same browser I'm using, here's how I do it using Google Chrome. If you have Google Chrome, remember, you don't go to the app, you go to the website using your internet browser. And then I just click these three dots here and I click desktop site, and then boom, there's the publish button. Here's my Webtoon, Catch Me, Fight Me, Love Me, and I also turned it into a book. I also have some videos on how I upload a Webtoon on my iPad or on an Apple device. And also, if you are having trouble trying to locate the desktop version of their website, I'm sorry, I don't know what else to do, but hopefully what I did show you was helpful. But let's go back to the tutorial. Okay. Right here is where you're going to select your files and to upload them. Let me show you what that looks like. Alright, so this is what it's going to look like. Each individual, this is what mine looks like. Yours might not look like that, but if you are following along with this whole series, this is what I got, and might be what you have. But you see all these individual pages, you might be wondering, how is this gonna look like one vertical strip? They're all like cut up. They're all not like it's, Let me show you what it looks like. You can scroll down here and we can do preview PC. And this is what the preview looks like. See? It's all just one vertical strip. You don't even notice any of the slicing. See, it all looks nice and smooth. That's the magic of Webtoon Canva. They take all of the pictures and then they make it and they merge it and they make it look vertical. So there's not really anything that I have to do on my end to make it look vertical. Oh, but yeah, so your next step, you're gonna upload all your files. Then when you're all done, go ahead and publish your episode. Ta-da, you did it. You might be wondering, well, what about the thumbnail here? What about this? How do we do this? Let me show you. Go to File. This is, I guess, step number 2, your thumbnails for your covers. So we can just go to File, New, and what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change this to PX because I feel like it. Now, the width and the height, I forgot, what was it supposed to be? The width and the height for the episode covers is 160 pixels wide by 151 pixels tall. So let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty, resolution, I'm just gonna drop it down to 300 because it's a tiny little square. We want to have it, the file size, you see right here, image must be less than 500 kilobyte. The lower the resolution, the lower my file size will be. I'll explain. Well, I won't explain because I don't really understand it, but anyways. So now we have our image. So we'll just episode thumbnail. So what we're going to do now is we're going to export it. Again, this is like your second step. So after you have your thumbnail and you made your whole thumbnail following those steps, now we're going to go and we're going to use a single export and we're going to click JPEG. I'm sorry if you're feeling overwhelmed. This is it. We're almost done. Now from there, I like to keep it at 100 because I want the size exact. So I just put it at 100 like that. I keep everything else the same. I click OK. Now, we can see the current kilobyte file size and it's 9.50 kilobytes. How many kilobytes do we need to stay under? We need to stay under 500 kilobytes, so we're good. We're good. You see, we had to stay under 500 kilobytes. How many kilobytes are we at right now? 9.50. So we got like 400 plus that we're good. We're Gucci. So you click OK. And then from there, you just upload your file. Some people were having issues, not with this necessarily, but right here, the vertical thumbnail. So I'm going to show you what I do. I already have a video on this, but I guess I can go ahead. I don't want to overwhelm. But you see right here, a lot of people, their files are bigger than 770 kilobytes. So that's why I like to use, when I'm saving my thumbnail files, this is why I like to use that single page export, because you see right here, this file size is 5,671 kilobytes. It can't be any bigger than 700 kilobytes right here. So we have to now lower this. And one of the ways I like to lower it is I just lower it with the quality until I get down to 700. Whoop, I'm under 700. And then that is what solves that issue right there. Your file size, the literal file size, not like the size, because some people are like, well, I have it in it's exactly that, but it's giving me error. It might be your file size, not your file size, but your file size. So yeah, that's my whole process on how I make a webtoon using Clip Studio Paint. Yeah, it's pretty easy, yeah? I know there's a lot of steps, so if you're feeling overwhelmed or if you're feeling like, oh, I'll never get it done, I just want you to know you are doing a great job. Yes, this is a very overwhelming process, and it's totally normal for you to feel that way. That does not mean that you're not doing a good job. You're doing awesome. Okay, you're doing an awesome job. We will just be overwhelmed together. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I have no solutions to offer or tips on how do you not feel overwhelmed. I'm always overwhelmed. I am always overwhelmed. So we can just be overwhelmed together, and then we'll just take it like one step at a time. We'll do like one little step, one task, one action step at a time, and then give ourselves space to just rest. You know, we saved our file. That's it for today. We just gonna rest. All right, we upload a file. We uploaded one file. Good. Now we rest for the rest of the day. One step at a time. But yeah, that's my whole process. So we're done with the how to make a webtoon using Clip Studio Paint for beginners. series. I guess the next one is going to be either how I make my website, where I also post my comics on there for those who want to have like their own webcomic website, and they're like, well, what do I use? What host do I use? What content management system are you using? What about the domains? I can share all of my stuff that I have, so you can see if you want to do what I have done with my website, S-Morishita Studio. I can share that process for the next series. And then I have the other series for those who don't have Clip Studio Paint and they want to know, well, can I make a webtoon without Clip Studio Paint? You definitely can, and I will show my process on how I make a webtoon without Clip Studio Paint, using Ibis Paint, and without using 3D models, you know, just so like using just other stuff. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what questions I gotta locate to help answer, because you know, whenever you do something for a long time, you forget what questions you had as a beginner. So then I'm gonna have to go through and see, okay, let's find all the questions that people have asked me so that I can answer and share my process using Ibis Paint now this time. So yeah, if this was helpful, please let me know. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I'm tired in my brain. It's been a rough month. Mentally, it's been a rough month. But hey, we got something done today. So yeah, okay, I'm rambling enough. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.